Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I wanted to come and give you my 1 week update on this, on using this A313 cream. I didn't expect to be coming to speak to you this quickly, but I've had quite a few issues which may or may not be related to this cream that I wanted to let you know about. I kind of want to bring you on this journey with me. And I'll probably then do another update at a month telling you how these things are going. So what I've been doing is documenting each day of the 7 days exactly what was happening. So firstly, let me tell you about the formula and what I think about it. It's extremely greasy, but it's not as bad as that hemorrhoid cream. Do you remember I did the trial on the hemorrhoid cream? I stopped using that hemorrhoid cream because it was just hideous. You know, it was on your skin and my hair would stick to it and it was just awful. I don't know whether it's because I'm using less of this, but if you only use a tiny amount in the areas you want to use it, it's absolutely fine, especially when you put a moisturiser on top of it. So I've been putting the hydration vaccine on top of this. I did detect a tiny scent of vinegar, but it was very brief. It was just as I was putting it on and then it was gone. So that's absolutely fine. So day one, I applied this. I decided to put it on my chin, on this area here for my pores, and then I sort of put it up to about there, knowing that it would travel and hopefully work on crow's feet. And I put it just under my brow where I used to put my Retinol in. I had no effects at all. The first night of using it, I didn't feel anything at all. It felt lovely actually because it was very emollient, it was very moisturising. I put my moisturiser on top, it was fine. Day two came and went and I had no reactions at all showing on my face, and so I used it in the same way again on day two evening. Actually, I forgot to say I did use it around about here. I avoided these lines because these are genetic. You know, I've got these lines in pictures of me at 13 years old, and I know that it interferes with my tan, so I missed this bit out and just sort of put it down here. So day two I applied it exactly the same, but day two I noticed that my skin was very itchy where I had put the cream on. So I was really wanted to itch my chin. I wanted to itch kind of around here, around my eye area, but it wasn't unbearable at all. Day three is when I had some effects on my skin, and I don't know, I say effects, I had some things happening on my skin that I don't know if they were related to this or not. The first thing that happened was I got a sort of red patch here and a red patch on my chest here. I put a picture on Instagram actually saying I think it might be from this. What I realised much later on that day was that I had taken a half a niacin tablet and it wasn't a non-flush niacin tablet, and that makes you flush. So you take a niacin and it does make your skin red. So I thought, well, it could be related to that. My skin wasn't sore, I just felt like I had rosy cheeks, that was all. So that may or may not be related to this, but I don't think so. I then, later on that day, the bit where it was red developed into a lump. There was just a little lump there, something that I've never experienced like that before, because it wasn't one of those painful acneic type lump, and neither was it the normal kind of allergic reaction I get is tiny little sort of almost blisters, or just little tiny lumps, not a big lump like that was. So I wasn't sure if that was related. I thought it was odd that it was in the same place as it was red. I also had a bit of a bloodshot eye on the right side, so near where that lump was, which suggests there was some connection there. But I had also, only a few days before that, stopped my antihistamines. Not the best timing, but when it's during the winter, I have to stop my antihistamines to see if I still need them. There have been times I need to take them all year round, but there's other times I can get away with not taking them through the winter. So I have to stop them to find out, do I get any symptoms? Now, bloodshot eyes and lumps are not normally something I get. I normally get a swollen throat, and that's how I can tell, yep, the allergies are still there, there's obviously too much dust, or, you know, I need to take my antihistamines. So I'm not taking my antihistamines. So that could be a reaction because of that. I think it's more likely to do with this, certainly the bloodshot eye, because my eyes did feel a little bit irritated. This is all still day three, just 2 nights after using it. So as the day went on, nothing got any worse, but I decided not to use this that night and see how many of those symptoms, if you like, had gone the following day. So day four, the lump had reduced. I'm just going to put my notes here in front of me so I can see them. The lump had reduced. I wrote it in every single day, you know, what was going on. But it hadn't completely gone. There was no redness in my face at all. my Eyebon Bloodshot had reduced, but I now had really, really dry lips. They were so dry that, you know, when you get that, it's almost like you've put red lip liner on. That's what it looked like. They were so dry. So that made me realise that I'm obviously going too far up my chin, but it travels way further than I imagined, because I'm only putting it on this area, but the line was also on the top of my lip, but I wasn't putting any here. So it's travelled from here right the way down to here. And that would mean it would travelled up as well, which could explain the bloodshot eye. So day 4, everything looks a little bit better, which makes me suspicious that it's this. I know that my lips being dry, my lips are sometimes dry at this time of year, but not normally to the point where I've got a lip line of dryness. And so I thought, this is obviously this, you know, my skin is getting drier using this and it's travelling to my lips. So on day 4, I did continue to use it. I used it again on day 4 in the evening, and I thought I'm going to use it on my eyes again and see if it then makes the bloodshot eye worse, if that lump comes back up again, or, you know, what happens. Day 5, the lump is still almost gone. There's a tiny little raised bit there, but it's almost gone. My bloodshot eye is gone, and my lips are still dry, but that's kind of an aside. So my eyes do feel irritated. I noticed that from day 4 evening, putting the cream around my eyes, actually it's almost like I took out, like I'd had contact lenses in all day, if you know what that's like. You know, they just felt a little bit gritty and a little bit sore. I didn't notice it until I went to bed. Actually, it was when I was closing my eyes, I thought, oh, my eyes feel really, really sore. No, not really, really sore, really, really irritated. But it lasted a few seconds and I fell asleep and it was fine, you know. But what was interesting about that is that the bloodshot eye went away. It didn't reappear just because I started using this again, and neither did the lump reappear. So it's still undetermined whether this was the effect or not. Could well be allergies, but I'm gonna, you know, wait another week and see what happens. So far I haven't needed to take my antihistamines, and, you know, I want to really make sure that it's not this. What are we on? Day 4. Day 5. Day 5, no reaction in the day, no change in my skin, no change in, you know, the lump, or no bloodshot eyes, etc. But come the evening, I decided to use some acid, because I'd used a self tanner, and I could see, you can probably still see that it's gone patchy in this area, which again tells me how far it travels, because I only applied it here, but it's obviously gone all the way up to here, and it has affected my self tan and made it patchy, which has happened to me in the past with retinol, with tretinoin, etc. And so because I'd noticed that, I wanted to use an acid, because that's how to get rid of, you know, really old tan. So I just used a gentle one, which is a PHA toner by the Inky List, and it did sting ever so slightly on my face, not on my neck, but it did sting my face ever so slightly, which is normally one of my signs that, you know, I'm using retinol and tretinoin and it's having an effect. Day 6. Day 5, I didn't put any of this on my neck. I thought I'll avoid it, because I do like to have a self tan. That's probably a whole nother video. But I've been using a self tan for more than 30 years daily on my face and neck. So it's probably something I'm addicted to, probably something I'm very used to. It's also a look I like. I like the tanned look. You know, I know that some people, like my friend, she prefers that sort of pale English rose colour skin. I prefer a tan skin. Maybe it's because I was brought up with mixed race siblings, I don't know, but I love my sister's colour of skin. She's kind of coffee skin. But for whatever reason, self-tanning is more important to me than addressing my aging neck. So I didn't use it on day 5 in the evening. Day 6, no difference during the day at all. What I did in the evening then, so I used the PHA, I'm pretty sure it was on day 5. I've got it here, but it's not clear which day it's sitting on. Day 6, I decided to go a step further and use lactic acid, but I used the one by Superdrug, and that's a 5% versus my ordinary one, which is 10%. The 5% from Superdrug did also sting my face, but not my neck, interestingly. And so again, I thought that just shows that there's some effect from this, something is happening, and that was to try and get rid of all of my tan. It hasn't completely worked, as you can see, because there's still some left. This is me with barely any tan. So day 6, I didn't put it on my neck. I'm not going to put it on my neck anymore. I stuck to the chin, cheeks, and under my eyebrows. Day 7, which was yesterday, no change whatsoever, everything's fine. So what I can tell you is that my skin feels lovely. I don't know that it looks lovely. I did a video yesterday and just one small video, and I watched the footage and I was like, oh, I'm not putting that up. I looked so haggard, and I don't know why, you know. I don't know whether, or I haven't mentioned about the under eye bags. I did notice after the first 2 uses, I forgot to write it down in here, that I had under eye bags, and I don't normally have a problem with under eye bags. I don't know whether you can see them. Maybe if I look down you can see them. They were quite pronounced after using it for a couple of days, and that may well be just because it's too, you know, heavy for this area. And so maybe that's why I looked so haggard yesterday, but my skin feels lovely. But like I said, I don't know that it necessarily looks as great. I felt like I looked really old yesterday. So all of these issues that I've had, bloodshot eyes, lump on my face, redness, they can really be attributed to something else. I'm not 100% sure it's due to this cream. The dry lips is definitely due to this cream, but it's not a big issue. But one thing I would say is, there is one reviewer on Amazon that said she got lumps, weird lumps all over her face. That's why I wanted to point out this lump, just in case it does turn out to be from this. Yeah, I think that's everything to tell you so far. So like I said, that's a week of using it. And obviously there's no point looking at before and after pictures after a week. But I enjoy using it. I'm not bothered by the greasiness. It feels lovely. My skin feels lovely the following day. I'm not too bothered by the issues. The only issue I'm really would be concerned about is the uncomfortable eyes, and so I'm going to monitor that, if you like, and there will be a time where I might not use it for a couple of days, or it might be a couple of days where I take antihistamines and see if the irritation goes away, and I can establish whether or not it's the environment or whether it's this cream. So I hope that was useful. You know, like I said, I really wanted you to come on this journey with me, and I know that there are other people that have bought this and started using it, so I thought I'd love to see what your experience is so far as well, so let me know. And I'll probably come back, if for any reason I decide to abandon this, then I'll come back and tell you about it, because so far, you know, I'm now not using it on my neck, I'm just using it on my chin, so this will be to get rid of these tiny little spots in there, acne scarring, you know, pores, fine lines, hooded eyes, etc, etc. But the only reason I would abandon it is if I couldn't use it anywhere, and I'm going to keep a close eye on my eyes because do you remember I did the tretinoin flooding experiment where I used tretinoin around my eyes morning and night, and my eyes actually looked worse, so I'm going to keep a close eye on that. And I might end up not doing my eyes, in which case it would just be my chin and my pores, and it would, you know, I would still keep using it to see if there was any improvement, but if not, I'll come back in a month and tell you how things are going, and maybe have a look at photos. There would be no harm, would there? So yeah, that's everything. What I'm wearing on my face is mostly glitter. I've got glitter fallout from my Urban Decay, I think it's called Midnight Cowboy eyeshadow, and that's the one thing I don't like about it. It's everywhere. My foundation is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro in 05. On my cheeks, I've got the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blush in Pink Sky. On my lips is the Too Faced liquid lipstick in Queen Bee. And then on top of it, I used a sleek liquid lipstick in Metalised Rose. I think that's everything, isn't it? Earrings are from River Island, and this top, which I believe is from Morrison's. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't stop videoing there, even though the cleaners for the building were walking across the courtyard and all looking at me like, what is she doing? Anyway, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.